What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Hope you had a good weekend. Fun night last night for those that joined. Toby and Shelly and I did another Roni live concert auction, painting auction. It was a fun time last night. Got the band back together. Appreciate everybody who watched. Let's see. A lot going on today. Of course, if you're reading the headline there, Alvin Kamara arrested in Las Vegas. Of course, there was the All-Star game, the Pro Bowl this weekend. Kamara was a participant. Las Vegas Police Department released a statement about Kamara's arrest. The victim reported being battered at a nightclub. The victim was battered by the suspect, identified as Kamara, who was located, taken into custody without incident. Was booked for battery resulting in substantial bodily harm. Investigation still ongoing. So I don't like to comment on legal matters before they're rectified, because obviously we live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, and the burden of proof falls on the accuser, and we don't really know what happened yet. So I'm willing, as hard as it is, to wait and see and say, all right, let's let the legal portion of this play out and see what might transpire. It is very disappointing, though, to see a guy like Kamara put himself in that situation. I'll remind you that if the NFL has a personal conduct policy, and Kamara here would be in violation of that personal conduct policy, which means that the league could suspend him. Remember, a year ago, we were in the same situation looking at Marshawn Lattimore. Lattimore was arrested. Ultimately, it was a nonviolent offense, and his charges were dropped, and so he was not suspended by the league. Remember, went through the rule by, well, maybe you don't remember this, but I went and looked at the rule, and it's like if it's a nonviolent offense and it's a first-time offender, the league could choose to fine and not suspend. This would be a violent offense with Kamara, and even though he is a first-time offender, it would seem as though he would be in line for suspension. So, in a year where you're obviously replacing Sean Payton, and you're gonna have a new head coach, still uncertainty at quarterback, very disappointing to say the absolute least. So let's see how it all plays out with Kamara, but very, very disappointing. LSU picked up a linebacker. If you didn't see it, so they added another transfer to the class, Colby Fields. Colby Fields is a linebacker from Rummel in New Orleans who went to South Carolina, had some small school offers, ultimately picked South Carolina, was there this past year, and now is transferring back to LSU, 6'1", 225. So, I think it just continues to underscore just continues to underscore the need for making over this roster and still how thin they were at that position. He was a 3-star. Not that that means everything, right? I mean, but he only played in 4 games for South Carolina this year, made 1 tackle. So he still maintained his redshirt year, so immediately eligible with 4 years to play for LSU. So they add another player there on the defensive side of the ball. I can't tell you I know much about him. And maybe it's one of those things where another year older, another year stronger, faster, better. You bring him back home to supplement that room and give him another year to kind of grow and develop, and maybe in time can become a contributor for you. But you build a championship roster by landing guys like Harold Perkins. When you go and you add West Weeks or Colby Fields, players like that, you're just trying to get your numbers where they need to be. So, interesting weekend to say the least. Let's see what y'all got. If you're on Facebook, like the page, share the post. YouTube, smash that like button. We appreciate y'all as always. Joey Vincent, Trivia Carter, what's good? Josh Higginbotham. Yeah, Josh said Hope Kamara was using self-defense. I hope so too. But boy, when you're arrested for causing serious bodily harm, it certainly doesn't seem like self-defense, but we'll see. Mr. Jones, good morning. Glenn Gardner, good morning. Shane O'Mac, what's up? Randall Offrecht, morning, Matt. Hope Drew's doing well. Could maybe do a bigger segment on AFR daily on daily gambling. It's not really a gambling pod. So, I mean, we mentioned the lines, and I don't know that I'm necessarily the guy that you want throwing out gambling picks every day, if that's what you're talking about. But I'm always open for suggestions. Chad Landry, good morning. Yep, kid from South Carolina is signed, so it's Colby Fields. He is officially on the roster. So, they've added getting Baskerville back was huge. You add West Weeks from Virginia, now Colby Fields from South Carolina. You signed DeMario Tolan out of Florida, and then you added Harold Perkins. So they've stockpiled there a little bit, which is good, where you already had Baskerville, Mike Jones, and you had Greg Penn and Antoine Sampa, Josh White. You've had some guys who've been around, so now you have numbers in that room, which is good. Where are we? Wrapping batches. Eric Wilderotter, good morning. Matt, if with basketball win total of 19.5, what side are you taking? So disappointing, man. All right, so will they get 4 more is what you're asking. All right, let's go through it. I'm going to say they're going to get Georgia at home. They should get Missouri at home. I mean, 8 more. Can they go 4-4 in their next 8? I hope so. I don't know. The way they're playing right now, I don't have really any confidence in that. But I'm going to say they're going to get Xavier Pinson back, and that will help tremendously when they do. So, sure, I'll go over. But these last 2, y'all, I mean, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, no excuse. None. No excuse. Brian Broom, Josh Bergeron, Chase Duplantis, good morning. If we don't fill our class this year, can we backfill next year? So it's already filled, Chase. So that's, you can only backfill with your 25 initials. Remember, this year they're allowing you to sign 7 transfers over the 25. But the backfill is only allowed if you don't sign your initial 25, which they have done. Reagan Lee, thoughts on the arrest, talked about that at the start. Hey, Dad, good morning. Rusty Gomez, Dylan Landry. Big news, I'm going to be a dad. And it's a girl. All right, Dylan, congrats, man. That's awesome. Cheers to you and your family, your growing family. Great news, man. Prayers for happiness and health for everybody throughout the process, man. That's great news. The Morning Scone family growing. How about it? David Coslin, good morning. Are we getting the 5-star from your high school alma mater? Are you talking about Shelton Sampson, the receiver? I would certainly think so. LSU offered early, and I know there's been a change in the coaching staff, but Emory Jones, 4-star lineman from Catholic, who just signed with LSU, and LSU's had a presence over there. I mean, I've been telling you that for years. Whether you love Catholic or you don't, I don't care. But you better pay attention because the pipeline is full, and LSU had better have a direct link from Hearthstone to Dalrymple. I'm telling you, man, because it's Emory Jones this year, Shelton Sampson. I mean, that ain't it. I mean, there's the cupboard is full. We'll put it to you that way. Ryan Amanda Gidger would love to know how the interview went yesterday. Yeah, man, look, so Eric Bieniemy interviewed yesterday. Schefter reported for 8 hours. It was Jeremy Fowler, reported for 8 hours. When you spend 8 hours with somebody, you got to have a pretty good feeling about it by that point. You know, I don't know what direction they're going to go, but you assess that interview and what you had with your in-house guys, namely Dennis Allen. It certainly seems like you're down to those two. Caleb Bernard, why can't people stay out of trouble? It's not that hard. Bad decisions, man. You mix alcohol in, people with money, in a place where people are looking for trouble, and it happens, man. Megan Hurst, Ed Reeder, good morning. Robert Martin, Greg Phillips, Brian Wynn, Stephen Fry. Enjoyed the Roni the Tiger auction last night. Thank you, man. We enjoyed doing those. I mean, shoot, we did them like every Sunday during quarantine, you know. It was something to do during quarantine. We enjoyed doing it, so it was good to be back doing it again. John Bro, good morning. Hey, Mark, good morning. Pelicans have won 3 in a row. How about it? It's amazing what happens when you're healthy. They don't have Zion yet. Fernell Thomas, we don't have all the info, please. No speculation. Kamara's demeanor doesn't show he's that type of guy. I'm with you, man. So I don't like to speculate when you're talking about legalities, but the reality is, too, from an NFL standpoint, he was arrested. So you're talking about that is in violation of the NFL's personal conduct policy. So if you're talking about an on-field result of this, he's likely going to be suspended. Michael Buckley, is Will Wade losing the games or the players? I don't think there's any doubt that when you lost Xavier Pinson, it's created a domino effect that's affected your performance on the floor. And the performance on the floor, I believe, absolutely has infiltrated the attitude of the locker room. It's tough, man. You lose 6 or 7. It's after the way you started, you start to spiral. Like, how do you get it back on track? Tough thing to do, but they got to figure it out. Jason Horn, Ricky Lambert, good morning. Good morning, Jonathan Martin. Shelby, if you were making the lineup for opening night, what would it look like? So, Shelby, I asked that question a few weeks back, and it's here's what I was told. All right, so McManus catching, Morgan at first, Doty at second, Berry at third, Thompson at short, Joe Barron right, Cruz in center, Dugas in left, and then DH would either be Beloso or kid from West Monroe. Jacob Willis, good morning. Hey, John Bro going to the game in College Station tomorrow. Hope they right the ship. Look, you look at LSU and Texas A&M, something's got to give. LSU's lost 6 of 7, and A&M's started 4-0. They've lost 6 straight. So these are 2 teams right now that are reeling and desperate for a win. The one win LSU got is obviously the home game against A&M. A&M's not a very good team, but neither is LSU right now. So when playing their best, LSU's double-digit favorite over A&M, but they're not playing their best. So, no. Josh Bergeron, you got to say it right. Cali High. Travis Roy, 8-hour interview for Bieniemy makes him a front runner. Should we be concerned the new GM from Chicago came from KC and didn't bring Bieniemy with him? No. I wouldn't read anything into that. What are you looking to accomplish? I don't know anything. Do you know anything about the GM in Chicago? I have no idea. And I don't know that an 8-hour interview necessarily makes you the front runner. But I mean, it's certainly sincere, right? You're not spending that much time if it's not. Let's see. Jason Austin, great show last night. Appreciate you guys playing Simple Man. Absolutely, dude. Vernell, I wish Mickey Loomis would wake up. Like, this is my coach. What do you mean wake up? Like, they've got time. I mean, it was pretty clear when we talked to Kat Terra last week. Said their objective is to have a coach in place by the combine. So they need to get someone and be diligent, but move quickly, and they're doing that. Michael Blanco, no shooters on this team. Well, yeah, they do. He just tore his ACL before the season started. As always, Joe, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. They're the best. Locations all over Baton Rouge. New year, new career. Brock is hiring. BROrtho.com, BROrtho.com. Of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. We're getting people just last week who have finally gotten their scope of work from the insurance company, their insurance approval. So that's you. They're doing a piece on Joe Burrow smoking cigars. I love it. Let's see. Devin Kelly, what's good? Tim Gotro, what's the total football roster number? I've lost track. I don't know that we know that definitively because you don't know like what walk-ons might have been given a scholarship sort of thing. They were in the low 50s for the bowl game. Now they only had 38 available to play, but the roster number was in the low 50s. And they've added 28 players, right, so far. So they're getting close. They're probably close to 80 or just a notch above 80. They're getting close. Do you think since NFL is pushing diversity, it'll impact the Saints' head coaching decision? Honestly, Jesse, no, I don't. I think you're going to hire whoever you think is the best person for the job. I don't think you're pressured into hiring a minority candidate just because that's what the NFL. There's so much conversation around that in the NFL. Like personally, I happen to be the most excited about Eric Bieniemy. Now he's a black man, but I don't really care. I just think he's been the guy who's been with Andy Reid, who's helped architect the best offense of the last half decade. I also think that he would be super attractive to big name quarterbacks to come to New Orleans. It might not happen if it were Dennis Allen. That said, I think Dennis Allen would be amazing too. The Saints have worked so hard to build this great culture over the last 16 years. I think you maintain so much of that alignment if Dennis Allen gets the job. So I'd be pumped about that too. I mean, I think we're splitting hairs. I think either of those guys would be awesome, and I think it'll be one of those guys. Sean Comiskey, Adam Miller, Johan Fudge, Julian Phillips, Efton Reed, future very bright, just got to get healthy. Agree. Taylor Castanier, good morning. Any news on if Brian Kelly have a press conference for signing day and the new staff? Taylor, I'm miffed that it hadn't happened. I mean, in all the years I've covered LSU, there's never been a signing day that's come and gone without hearing from the head coach. It's kind of baffling, but I hope so. I mean, nothing yet, but hope so soon. Jay Benoit, Chad Landry, Andrew Grady. Do you think LSU baseball is a top 8 national seed? I do not, Andrew, and the reason isn't because I don't think that they're going to be good or have a chance. I think their schedule's heinous, and they're going to have to figure out their pitching rotation. They got done no favors. I mean, they got to go on the road to Mississippi State. They're on the road at Arkansas, on the road at Vanderbilt, on the road at Florida. And the Mississippi State and Arkansas series are back-to-back. I mean, it's brutal. It's a brutal conference schedule. Bearded Dragon, good morning, Glenn Garner. I got a similar charge when I was 21. Hate it for him, not a fun process. Still my favorite running back. Kamara needs a hustle. All right. I think we're just about done, y'all. And I got to bounce. Got to get Drew at 7:54. Got to get Drew up and get rolling. Appreciate y'all as always for watching. Remember, brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Cutco Roofing. I'll get a LSU Daily podcast knocked out this morning when I get up to work. So look forward a little before 10 a.m. And AFR at 3. All right, y'all. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for watching, for hanging out as always. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button. If you're new, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. We appreciate y'all. Okay, onward and upward. We'll see y'all later. Peace.